So I'm here with Dr. Durley. Dr. Durley, can you tell me what you do for a living?
I'm a pastor in Atlanta, Georgia. I pastor the Providence Missionary Baptist Church for the last 25 years. Also, I'm a licensed psychologist.
So how did you decide on your profession, and what was the motivation behind it?
I think most of our lives, there are things that affect us, that make us do certain things. I had no idea that I would be a pastor, even though my father was a pastor here in Milwaukee. But mine was to go and play professional basketball. But somewhere along the line, I got involved in the civil rights movement with Reverend King and Reverend Andrew Young and Reverend John Lewis and Reverend Jesse Jackson and Reverend Al Sharpton, who was younger than us. And I went on to a seminary, even after I had finished my doctorate degree at the University of Massachusetts. And I got into the ministry, and I've been at Providence Baptist Church for 25 years now.
So over the years, how have you become acquainted with such strong leaders in the African-American community?
Well, basically, whenever you're out there, there's only a handful of people that will stand there and speak truth to power. Because when you become very visible, you can either lose your job, lose your position, or lose your life. So it's a very small number. And I think, like the students here, I was saying, each of you has to stand up for something. Stand up and believe in something. Don't get involved in all the little racial and stereotypic jokes. So I began to do that more and more, and I was placed with those who did the same thing. So I had an opportunity to meet and work with most of the people.
So over your lifetime, you said you went to South Africa to help out Nelson Mandela. What do you think has been the area where you've made the most impact?
I think what I would like to say, the area that we've made the most impact, even though in 1965 we had the Voting Rights Bill passed, the Civil Rights Bill passed, the housing and transportation rights. But I think the thing that gives me most joy is what I did today. When I can meet with young people here at Nicolet High School, while you're still young and impressionable, and let you understand that you all will make a difference when it comes to the political arena, when it comes to the educational arena, when it comes to breaking down barriers in the whole job market, what you say and how you say it and how you become one people. That gives me the joy now of where I've been and what I do. What I've gone through, I had to do it because it was a different day. You're in a day now where you all can speak out. You've got the technology, you've got the brains, but now you must have the heart to do it.
And how did you end up coming to Nicolet?
Well, Sean Green heard me speak in Washington, D.C., and she asked me would I come, and I said, to high school? What do I do going to high school? But I enjoy it when I do certain baccalaureates and commencement addresses, so I said I would come. And as I said in my remarks, I had a chance for the first time since my father was buried in 2002 to go to Graceland Cemetery, so it made it a very powerful experience for me.
And what are your impressions of Nicolet High School and its diversity?
I'm extremely impressed as I looked out over the audience, but more importantly, it's one thing to be mixed. It's another thing to have a feeling. I've been in mixed audiences most of my adult life, but when they leave, they go this way or that way. So I was impressed with the diversity here, but more impressed with the multicultural club now that's trying to bring people together. It's one thing to learn mathematics and reading and other kinds of academics, but a school should provide you with the opportunity to learn other cultures, other racial bodies of people. And that's what I was beginning to see, and that's really why I came here to Nicolet.
And what do you think the biggest challenge that you've overcome in your life?
Well, the biggest one, of course, was when I was very small and I stuttered a lot. And that was one of the first. And then the second biggest challenge, I think, was to begin to understand people and begin to trust people who were of a different color. Because I had seen so much negative and so much nastiness based upon ignorance. And I didn't say stupidity, ignorance, which means they just didn't know. So now, that was one of the biggest challenges, so I could say, now, let me begin to reach over. And when I travel to Israel now, when I travel to Turkey with rabbis and with imams, I can go beyond just the Christian faith and look into the Jewish, into the Islamic, and some Buddhists as well. So that was the biggest hurdle that I had overcome so that I could be a complete being.
So what advice would you give young people today looking to make an impact?
I think the first thing I would say is to understand that they have an obligation, a moral obligation, to make the world a better place before they leave here. And one of the ways of making it a better place is to reach to the other brothers and sisters and learn them, understand them, appreciate them, enjoy them. And when the two come together, then we've got the ability to speak out. They have the ability then to speak out against some of the kinds of things that you see going on TV, where people are just publicly spending millions and millions tearing each other up for what? No one wins in that situation. So hopefully your generation will be able to do that. And
final question, what do you think is the biggest hurdle we face in bringing society together?
I think the largest hurdle will be fear. Fear. Fear will be the biggest hurdle. What do I mean by fear? Fear will keep us apart. If you notice much of the political rhetoric that's going on now, they're using fear. They're not talking about what they're going to do. They're talking about who they'll defeat. That's fear. They're talking about these people have that, and what about this? And it's all fear. So the biggest hurdle, how do I get rid of that fear? The fear is getting rid of when I begin to know and understand somebody and know that they really have my best interest and the country's best interest. So if we can get rid of that fear that separates us, then we can have an opportunity to really grow. That's the biggest hurdle, to get rid of fear. Because fear is based on ignorance, meaning they just don't know. And they've got to communicate. And when you communicate, three things will be apparent. When I communicate with you, I'll understand you. When I understand you, I should respect you. And when I understand and respect you, then I can trust you. And when I can trust you, we can communicate, and my fear is gone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Durley.
You're certainly welcome, and thank you. And keep up the great work that you're doing here at Nicolet High School.
Thank you.
You're welcome.